Ooh.
Terus live-nya lebih semangat bro.
Ooh.
Gak sengaja ketekan dia. Ini dia
Oof.
One, like I said, he was there so quickly. Again, I have to take a look. Actually, here on the minimap, look where he's already walking, Lauren. Before the hit even comes through. That's on the back of Doma just getting contact on the Cloudburst for them to clear wine. Great stuff from Magnum. Again, you talk bigger picture positionally there. Really, really good stuff for Fnatic to sit back and wait for all that to happen.
Now we got a bit of a game on our hands, because this is build back economy-wise for Fnatic. They should be able to get a couple more on the board. It looks like probably a timeout's been called in at this point. Not sure who by or if it's technical. We'll find out. However, this gives opportunity, right? So let's say it's 7 to 8. Then you get maybe another buy back in. You're going to have it right on the verge of kind of negating that little bit of an advantage they had on that half switch. So right back into this now.
Never been shown the floating bear. That's one I've not seen on this map. Actually.
This is no. This is the quality you get with
Yeah.
Prius, Sapphire, and Yeti. That's why. This is the premium stuff. Oh, it's technical. All right, podcast time. No, I'm kidding. Hopefully, it's a nice and quick one.
Oh, why
see the
come back
panic.
to the studio? Let's find some more bears. I mean, if they've been patched in and there's some new bears around the map, but no, so far
You don't think
I
the
mean,
observers are working hard enough? Damn, dude.
yeah, set them a real task. But again, I'm excited to see this. And last few times we've seen it, we talked about kind of Scream's impact on the Phoenix and those A executes that. I'll be honest, you get away with that for a couple of games, right? As soon as somebody can kind of anti-strat and set up for kind of when that hit comes through, it's only really the blaze wall from Scream that kind of creates this paranoia of exactly where you're going to come through. There's no real surprise to see them make this adjustment because, like I said in the first half, Scream, in certain scenarios where, especially when teams are like, oh yeah, Sage is here, he's solo, let's push him. Like, you put Scream in a corner with a slow orb, an ability to just isolate kind of 1v1s back to back. I've got him winning it 90% of the time. 90% of the time. And he does. He comes up time and time again. You see him in these weird kind of one and done spots that we always talk about, Lauren.
Oh?
And he's finding 3 from it.
Chewing gum or snack?
Chewing gum. I don't think Soulcat, like, his jaw has been getting a workout, like, the entire way through. He, literally every time he's on camera, he's chewing.
True. That's the real analysis here. That's what we're on board for.
What brand do you think? No, we can't talk brands. Avoid that.
If there is a chewing gum sponsor out there, let's have that conversation, huh?
The DMs are open.
I think Twist in CS had like someone like a company sponsor him. Look, there it is. That's a hand warmer. Don't eat that. But he's having a great time. They seem calm, collected, no problem in that. And Yampy, one of the players who actually threw again, it was the Team Liquid vlogs. If you haven't seen it, make sure you check it out. I mean, it shows how much of an emotional equalizer he is. He's really solid.
I was having this discussion with Jonas yesterday. Actually, shout out Jonas. I know he's watching along today. Will be obviously with Liquid playing in this matchup, but he was saying how obviously having Scream with that kind of LAN experience and being a seasoned veteran, right? Still a very emotional player, but having that kind of experience, in voice chat, and then having Yampy to be the hype man. It's been such a huge kind of building block for them. Again, we talk about the emotional history of Liquid, how many times we've seen them fall short in these very, I say, arguably favored positions for them and come up short ultimately in series. To have 2 figures like that on the team is absolutely massive now that we take Valorant to LAN.
Big point. We're back underway. Thank you very much, observers. They found you one. That's the thick bear, just straight up crushing. 6 to 8 though, we're right back into this, and we were kind of talking about the impact of the previous round, and we can kind of almost carry on very conversationally here, because unless something quite miraculous does come through for Liquid on this, it's gonna be a tough round. Now the timing on Durka could be interesting here. He just cleared that corner, now needs to back away, because there is just gonna be sheriffs, ghosts, bits and bobs, a little bit of light armor invested for length though.
We're both are gonna spot out, I think, just one actually. Cryptix was playing deep enough there that he wouldn't have been spotted with the short-sighted Trailblazer. Soulcas and Scream still trying to figure out exactly where Durka's repositioned to, and just slowing things down here. Liquid trying to isolate one player at least. Now, no information on the back of that flash, I don't think. At least I didn't see anybody get flashed there. And Yampy's going to creep through.
Dicey, but no problem yet. Yampy's gone down to Doma. Durka's still feeling like, okay, there's way too many players close to this. Magnum's helping him out on this double stack on short. And I'm looking towards seeing what Link can do here. He's been given a little bit of time to try and snake away. But I think that's been potentially noted. Already, you can see Magnum turning attention towards it. Yeah, he's like, nah, I heard you, bud. Not going to happen. Pretty well held by Fnatic. No threads to be pulled on for Liquid there. No opportunities really garnered. There was a little bit of room, I guess, for Yampy at one moment, but beyond that, it was very quickly handled.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not sure if anybody in the back line got flashed just outside a lobby with Boaster sending that flash out. Actually, Doma, perfectly positioned actually for Boaster to be in a... Okay, yeah. Well, Obviously, I was going to say not as insane as Dirk's tap through smoke, but Magnum finding another one as well. But yeah, I'm not sure if anybody in the back line got flashed there because it looked as if Fnatic just didn't want to stray away from that formation. They were set. They were stuck in position.
I was so ready for that A-take as well. You could see it. Flash in hand, everything. Up short does get the info required, so that could now maybe alleviate Durka to feel a little bit more freedom to make these plays if he wanted to. There is a turret waiting to catch on the other side, but on the other side of this is going to be Yampi trying to lead the way in. He gets denied it. Doma now gets to hold territory. Good utility work coming out from Boaster there just to quell Yampi's aggression again. And Durka going to be waiting on that cross. If he doesn't get checked on, he's going to get away with murder.
Paranoia as well, but now Yampi's got reinforcements here. Scream going to try and counter peek off him. He will get the best of him. A trade comes through from Boaster, but Dirk now at full stream. The first headshot comes through. Yampi will fall. Got to play his life though.
Does, and with that pickup in middle, that's a bit of a problem. This opens up the rest of the map slightly. Keep your eye on the spike and where they want to take this. Soulcast leaning towards A after Cryptix does get a fair crack of control. So for Mystic and Magnum, it's going to be a arduous retake.
30 seconds left.
Some way off, and now confirmation. The spike will be going down. They'll have time to set up on this. Now, Soulcast does have a fair bit in utility. So does Cryptix, actually. So this is going to be hard to find a way back in from Mystic and Magnum. What can you do to try and dig these players out? Both posted towards hell.
Looks like Mystic's got a lineup to deal with at least one corner here. The Nano Swarm already set up for Heaven as well. I'm going to stop that push coming through on the back of the utility getting invested. Magnum actually going to charge to try and close the distance here. Going to find the headshot, but no kill. Cryptix deals with it.
And you can see just the time being bought here. So much utility to work through. Mystic knows he's in all kinds of trouble. A touch on the spike does get one, but Cryptix the time. He's just got to play it. And there's no time left. Mystic, don't think he's going to even get out of there. No. A good round in the end from Team Liquid, even though it looked a little sketchy, but they kept control.
Again, a nice play from Mystic as well, just to make sure that everything's removed to reset the inventory, I guess, for Liquid on this round. Great setup there. Magnum, unfortunately, again, the headshot comes through. It doesn't do enough there. See, actually, yeah, I mean, on the back of that, Liquid are struggling. They've got the Blade Storm to ride through, but Light Armor's and a Spectre on the board here. And
Dirk is going for a walk. That's pretty brave. He has to get out of there. The spam's coming in. Everyone wants to just try and punish this sort of aggression, but he makes it out with 50 HP for now. But this has all been noted. This has all been read. Magnum, he's going to be none the wiser. They're playing right up towards middle. Wait, Yampi's walked past him. What? How's Magnum alive? I don't understand this. Ult now comes up. They're going to see all of this. This is just chaos in every single way you could imagine. Seekers go down. More confirmation of position. Link now left towards middle. And this is just a weird round. Soulcast is trying to play it back in, but what on earth just happened?
I mean, the trust there. Soulcast's going to desperately try and find a kill on the way out here. Hunter's Fury invested as well in this one, somewhere in the mix. Now finds himself on a 1v5, and one of the players that actually was riding the Spectre into this one, he will be dealt with. The Prime Gaming Flawless from Fnatic, and I gotta say, I don't know what kind of contingency or safety net was in place there to make sure that Magnum doesn't get pushed in mid. We talk about, you know, the way that they play with the Cypher very differently. They set up these traps around the utility off the spy cam. You can see here, he's set up, and like you said, Yampi just walks right past him. I'm not sure what the safety net is to make sure that that doesn't happen, and he's so lucky, I guess, that Liquid just a little bit complacent on that push through, or maybe, you know, not enough discipline to kind of really full check all these corners in market, and it punishes them.
Look at the pace though, right back into it. Yampi not going to stop for a second. The man just knows where that W key is. He ain't going to stop. Boaster does catch Soulcast on the way in though, which could be a good way to at least alleviate some of the pressure from the post plant that could be coming through. Now Link going to get the spike down. Scream tasked with catching the flank, and it's going to be Yampi to deal with that market play back through from Durka and Boaster, but yeah, he's going to get checked on, and that's going to be already a little bit of a problem. Actually trying to get proactive on it, tries to jump across on the peak, but Magnum catching from CT. Still, I guess a spike plant's pretty solid in this for them, and managing to get this far, and a Scream just plays aim training on him, but Outgunned drastically. Position noted. This one's a wrap.
A nice little pace change from Liquid, and actually boasted the only man for Fnatic to hold down B site here. Able to kind of slip away, play his life effectively. You give that one over to Doma, get his ultimate online. Mystic with the Viper's Pit, nothing else available for Fnatic, and we'll have to take a look once it pops back up to see what Liquid have got at their disposal. It's all tied up here, 9 apiece. Yeah, the lockdown, the revive. Nothing else really close yet. Link the closest. Again, this is the sort of round here where I'm expecting Fnatic to maybe switch things up once again. Actually, it's Liquid. They're going to continue with this pace change, yeah.
I guess that ult's a bit of an issue that they can't quite sit cleanly in the post plant, and it cuts off very few avenues of approach, but Yampi's going to try and crack right into it. Doma instantly dedicated himself towards this. There is no full back plan beyond this. This is just straight up all in. This is deathmatch time. How does he get 2? How on earth does Magnum get 2 out of that? I have no idea. There's now 2 alive. Soulcast and Scream. The res is there for Scream, but does he want to try and
Excuse me?
He wasn't even in the ult.
What? I want a list of what Mystic, Durka, and Magnum have had for breakfast today. These guys are hitting.
What?
This is insane.
I don't even know how. Wait.
Okay, dude.
You're having a laugh.
Yeah.
You're having an absolute laugh.
Check Kim.
I wish my spray did that. Like, what?
Check Kim PC. That is all I was saying. That is absolutely bonkers from Magnum. And Liquid.
That's so quick.
Wisely so, calling the attack timeout now. I mean, this is, again, on the back of getting bullied in 2 rounds where they've completely tried to flip the script on the pace of this game. To just get absolutely, I gotta say it, just slapped by a couple of rounds here by Fnatic. That could put the brakes on here. And it's 3 rounds unanswered now. 5-2 on the half.
Again, dude.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like,
I know someone's gonna clip it, so just tweet me it. I want to watch it.
Tweet me a mini montage of the Durka tap through smoke. I want the Mystic tap through the Viper's Pit there, and I want the Magnum just like remixed. I want it scrubbed backwards and forwards in slow-mo, because that was absolutely insane.
Oh. Whew.
Now, again, with the way the previous 2 rounds have gone, yes, it was a save round. Yes, then we had the buy round where Liquid tried to double down on that aggression and that tempo they tried to adopt. But here it's tough. I mean, do they continue with that on the round that Fnatic actually do decide to become proactive? They're playing much deeper than you'd usually expect. Again, Fnatic are a team that we'd always accredit for being one of the most proactive in terms of defensive set pieces. This is just really tough for Liquid to break back into this.
The scoreline still sits so close, but you're right, this should be 11 after the back of this. And this was led by Liquid for so long. And then this resurgence of form from Fnatic. Got to make value out of this for Liquid. You can't just let this be another one go by the wayside. And look at that deep hold towards short as well from the defensive side. Magnum and Mystic sitting super deep on this. Making sure there's no threat to be instantly found. The double stack here as well. Great read, just makes me nervous.
Gonna send the paranoia through here, but no follow-up on it.
Oh, Durka. Durka, that tracking is so good. Honestly, if this was, you know, a different game, if this was VAC rather than Vanguard, I'd be questioning. But right now, these boys are absolutely playing a fire game. The aim is on. But you can see Link and Cryptix aren't exactly backing away either. But it is just Link left alive. And I said they had to do some damage. A Judge, it's not what he wanted. If he got a rifle, maybe more could have been had. Or is that spike not quite to hand either? Able to pick that one up. try everything you can, and it's get out of there time. See what you can do with this. You got to fight for your life in this.
Get the hell out of Dodge. Already Boaster gonna close the distance here. 2 members on A site gonna remain now. Link forced to play all the way in Boathouse on back site. Actually,
this is everything he's got. He has to play everything on this one. And Fnatic still have utility to play with. They've still got bits and pieces, full rifles, armor's looking pretty on 2. There's one of the pieces of utility. There's a second. Link wants to try and dive into this, but ordered away by hyper work coming in. The venom just through the veins, though!
Really?
How does he get all 3?
You have got to be kidding me. Link coming up huge in a
Your
1v3.
I was worried about the venom in his veins. It's the ice in this man's veins that comes through. What a clutch. A Red Bull clutch at that. Having to dig so deep when his team needs him.
That is absolute. Thank you for the slow-mo on this one. A beautiful adjustment there from Durka, but this is insane from Link. I don't even think actually Fnatic are even considering the possibility that it's a judge he's retrieved from A site. Oh my word, that one brings them right back into this, Lauren. Ties things up 10-10.
What a game we have on our hands. Both teams unrelenting. We have ults online for Boaster and Magnum, Scream, and Cryptix. So both of them have some abilities here to work with. We do have the op-out as well for Durka. Full rifles on everyone is what they need. This is the biggest round, and we have once again that set piece on A from this defensive side. Very unique. Boaster tasked with a lot here. Now with this ult coming in, he's already outside of it, but this is a comfy site take and a full retake time, basically, from the very word go.
I think we've seen Fnatic adjust like this on the back of them having the lockdown available a couple of times. Actually, a nice little combo with the slow orb and the nano swarm there to do a little bit of chip damage there on Boaster. We've seen Fnatic back up and play like this, anticipating a lockdown execution from Liquid. There's going to be a full 5v5. The Seekers available, invested early on here in the retake.
Magnum's got a lot of space, actually. Good bit of freedom to start with. We've got 3 at the back of site. This is a really deep post-plant hold. Magnum's cleared out 2 already. There's going to be 3 against him. Cryptic, Soulcast, Link, where are you in this one? Everyone at the back to the wall. They're sitting the defuse. Durka ain't going to be moving. And Magnum!
Oh,
what a round to find
God.
form. 4 for him there. Prime Gaming flawless. I cannot believe not a single kill could have been garnered.
Lauren, I think this might be one of the best examples of anti-stratting that we could see across this event right here. Again, the readjustment, Boaster to play solo, anticipating this lockdown. And we've seen this Viper set up a couple of times here, but look at the lineups. The wall goes up to isolate back Boathouse. There's 2 lineups with the snake bites to clear behind double and behind default. The paranoia invested. It's pixel perfect from Fnatic. And we've seen them, they've been leaning back. They've been anticipating this execution from Liquid so many times. And it comes through, and they're so well equipped for it.
I'm cracking the can of Red Bull. I'm ready for this one now. Let's go. 11-10. Both of these teams doing something that I can't imagine. Durka could be forced away from this. Now, it isn't that same double stack. This is a different look. They've gone away from that last piece, maybe predicting more of a, I guess, standard approach considering the purchase coming out from Liquid, or just trying to play a little bit more all-encompassing here.
A couple of weapons across the board to deal with, but it's not comfortable whatsoever for Liquid. Durka again going to be posted up in A heaven here. Cryptic's actually opting to face, going to get a tag. Doesn't get traded onto. Domi now got it all to do. Boaster.
Gets another. He's got to know there's someone else around here. He's isolated Link. This is huge work. This could be 12 on the board for Fnatic right here, right now. But there's a rifle with Soulcast, and there's still Scream. If there is Scream alive, there is still a chance, and they're fighting for survival now. This isn't just another map. Fnatic have now pushed the advantage. What can they do? Boaster slowly closing the net as well, just suffocating Liquid in this. And a pause for thought. Durka's got the cross. I don't know how they're going to get through this Boaster. He's creeping around the back line. Scream. That internal clock ticks. He knows it. He does punish Boaster. It's a gateway now. 15 seconds, though. It's a rifle upgrade. They've got to go right here, right now. 10 seconds is all they've got on the cross. Scream needs to make it through. 8 seconds of spikes on the site. Durka wants to deny, though. Finds one. Oh, he's punished Scream, who just showed a little too much leg, and that's going to be the round for Fnatic, no matter which way you cut this.
insane. You can see Scream just wait so long for Fnatic to fight back in, and they're happy. Again, I think they read that situation perfectly. They know Scream's still got the revive, and they play that to their advantage. They know that the pressure's going to be on. If anything, with the control here, Poster actually nearly caught off guard here, but finds that second kill on Link, and that is massive for Fnatic. Again, to put the brakes on this, slow this round down. Again, they want Scream to wait out this revive. They want him, that paranoia to build.
This is it. This is what they get to come with into this potential final round. It's 12 to 10. Liquid's tournament life is on the line. Fnatic on the verge of doing the lower bracket run, but a burst out towards main. And Booster found one big trade, so Link and Yampy digging deep on this. A quick flash will allow the fallback, and it pauses potentially this big springboard moment, and those rifles are unrecoverable for now.
Expect Fnatic to defend these, not allow them to retrieve them. Another flash going to come through, and again, this is just all information. Fnatic can hold the line as they are for the time being. Both are actually going to post up in a little off angle here. Aldrone will spot him, but he's still going to get a kill. Yampy
He played that so well on the timing. It's all down to 2 in this moment. Link and Soulcast charged with the weight of Liquid on their shoulders now. Magnum on one side, Boaster on the other. There is no way in. There is no further step forward. Link is being worked down from every single angle. Utility on top of utility. 28 HP. And no matter how bad he wants this, no matter how hard he just wants to get to that site, the odds are stacked so heavily against him. And he knows it. No one's giving him any quarter here. As the seconds dwindle down, he's going to find Magnum. He's given it everything, but I can't imagine a better player to close it out for Fnatic. Booster to take Fnatic forward in 2. Only one European team can carry on, and it will be Fnatic to bear the burden, to bring that banner forward and see if they can complete the lower bracket run.
Fantastic performance, and just absolutely insane to see Fnatic back on, since this roster change comes through, to see on this uptrend they've had. Again, regionally, we look back, and last time they faced, I mean, Liquid bested Fnatic, but right here, again, a little bit of a funky map feature that I gotta say was completely unexpected, right, from everyone. But Fnatic right here just showing, again, you do your homework. They have all of these protocols, all of these contingencies in place for everything that they do. And ultimately looking in full control here. Liquid, a couple of really, really good, I guess, rounds strung together, but it's just not enough. It's not enough, and Fnatic best them here and eliminate them from Masters 2 Reyjavik.
Fnatic, you can't help but love these boys and the way they're playing right now. Coming into this, they did get bested by Liquid. Came in, had the, I guess, arguable disadvantage, but Liquid should be able to keep their heads somewhat held high after this. They've done well, considering we know the route they've had to run to get to this point. It's been a huge trajectory of improvement since Yampy's come on board. It has truly come together for them, but it is time to say goodbye and see how far Fnatic can take this. I think they did the little Liquid clap at the end. I think that was the whole, you know, winning celebration. I think I still prefer the airplane. I think that was still my favorite.
The airplane will go down in history for me as one of the greatest post-game esports celebrations I've ever seen. I mean, I can't wait to see what else they've got up their sleeve, to be honest with you. But what a performance from these guys. And you're right, you can't help but love them. Again, to have this kind of charisma out of game and look this good in game. Durka again today. But I got to make a shout out once again.
Better be Magnum.
Don't be Magnum. I was going to say, don't
what are you saying, Hypoc?
But let me finish my sentence. Magnum on the last map was insane. And that's the first time we really see him again, really flip the script on expectations-wise, coming onto this Cypher. And again, for me, I was looking into him actually be very, very passive. And with this composition change on Ascent in particular, to play kind of way deeper, right, and make these reactionary plays. But him literally leading the charge for Fnatic in that first half and some of those executions was fantastic to see.
No, I'm with you, and I'm glad we've got to see the kind of step up of the Magnum and, you know, the Durka combination, Doma. So many of these names now have all had their moments to shine, right? And everyone else filling that gap, everyone doing exactly what was required. I'm thoroughly impressed, and I said the same for Liquid when Yampi was brought on board. They did indeed increase in performance. They became so much better as a unit. The same can be said for Fnatic. They made the hard choices, and it's paid off, and then some. And it's paid off at LAN, which is the crazy part to me. But still, their run is not over. This is just the start of it. They are on a marathon today. The sprint's completed. They've now got a whole other game to go in towards. So with that in mind, we're going to head to a break. And when the desk is back, they're going to take you through everything we just saw. And I'm sure lead you into that next game that awaits for Fnatic.
You say this every time. This is the new world, you told me lightly. Oh, and how could it end? Let it fall in my lifetime. I don't really like that. I don't really like that. And how can you paint all the colors of my life? And I don't really like that. No, I don't really like that. Waking up in the morning, I can't remember yesterday with you. Tear myself in the silence, who knows if I'll even remember you. Waking up in the morning, I can't remember yesterday with you. Tear myself in the silence, who knows if I'll even remember you. Is there a place to get away, where I can be myself, for better or for worse? I know there's a place, a secret getaway, where I can be myself, where I can be myself. Oh, and how could it end? Let it fall in my lifetime. I don't really like that. I don't really like that. And how can you paint all the colors of my life? And I don't really like that. No, I don't really like that. Waking up in the morning, I can't remember yesterday with you. Tear myself in the silence, who knows if I'll even remember you. Waking up in the morning, I can't remember yesterday with you.
For Mental Health Awareness Month, Riot Games partnered with the Public Good Projects, a public health nonprofit, to design a free mental health advocacy guide for content creators, streamers, and moderators in North America. The guide provides resources, tips, and information from top mental health organizations aimed to guide conversations around mental health. It's available for anyone who wants to support their viewers, fans, and friends who may be struggling with mental health conditions. Head on over to riotgames.com/mental health to learn more. All right, folks, welcome back to the studio here in Los Angeles. And Fnatic move on, and we have to say goodbye to Team Liquid. But we'll take a look at our Prime Gaming map highlights. And Lothar, this was not just a tight map, it was a tight series overall.
It was a 2-0, but it, on paper, it wasn't as one-sided. It was a close match. It was like between Sentinels and Fnatic. It was a 2-0, but when you were watching it, it was actually super intense, and you never knew which side will win. But I wanted to just point out how lovely the map bans were from Fnatic. I think it was the biggest win condition by them because they didn't ban Split. So because of that, they just banned Haven, which is super defense intensive from Liquid with the Killjoy Viper combination where Yumpy is on the Killjoy instead of the Jet, and because they won also 2-0, they still did hide the splits from the opponents. From Liquid, it's kind of unlucky, but I feel like they just got outsmarted by Fnatic still, like especially on that map pool. And I just loved how Fnatic built their defense setup on Ascent, which was something that, as you could have seen in the game, Liquid had problems going through.
Yeah, and some top-tier plays from actually this young man that's on your screen here. We're looking at Magnum. He had some flicks that were out of this world, without a doubt, but Fnatic, though, as stated, will be moving on. And, despite that, though, Veli, it is important to note when a player shows up, when they earn their paycheck on the field, as it is often called in pro sports. And I think Scream made a case for that here, although he was a bit quiet, which is understandable because he was on the on the attack on the second half there. Scream, though, was on fire at the beginning. He dropped 18 kills.
Yeah, Scream is absolutely ridiculous. And I'm going to be completely honest, I watched zero Counter-Strike esports in my life. But I know about Scream. I've always heard about how just legendary he was as a player, the one-tap king, whatever they call him, But coming to Valorant, I was skeptical. There was a lot of optimism on my end about what impact he would have on the scene. And he did not disappoint at all. He is one of the standout players. Matter of fact, top 2 in rating, top 2 in KD. Only tied with 10s, by the way, and he is tied with 50 multi-kills with the one and only Magnum. I'm happy with what he's brought to this game, and I want to see Scream just, continue on, take this loss, and use it as motivation, a chip on the shoulder to just pop off at the next event.
Yeah, and that is certainly what you're going to want, right? And that is probably what Team Liquid, more than likely, what Team Liquid is going to do. And I have no doubt that Coach Sliggy is going to be getting them into fighting condition. We'll also hear from Coach Sliggy in a little bit. But paper thin, though, man, speaking of Coach Sliggy, you got these strats here. They knew they needed to shut down players like Durka, and Team Liquid managed to do so a few times here.
Yeah, you can see that we were talking about this before the game, and that you had to shut down Durka. His entries created so much space for them, and you can watch. The entry's going to come through here. He's going to dash back. Cryptic just steps through his smokes, takes up the guy behind him, then Screams ready behind you to take Durka down. So you can see the anti-strats just in positioning alone here for Team Liquid, getting ready for these entries from Durka. So clearly the game plan there executed well, even though Team Liquid doesn't come through with the win. We had to give them a little bit of love here as a send-off for how well they were able to shut down Durka's entries. It didn't pan out in the long run, but really nicely done them in that situation.
And you got to give credit to Cryptics there for diving into a slow orb with just a judge and some passion, and managed to pull off some crazy frags there. But yeah, I mean, you're right. We're giving Team Liquid a lot of love because, we're sending them off here. Fnatic will be moving on to take on New Turn. And Lothar, Fnatic had some brilliant retakes. Some worked, some didn't. But overall, Fnatic, man, they look really good.
Yeah, if you remember what I mentioned, the Viper wall on B for the retakes, that is allowing you to just take control of the site before you're retaking, it should help you out. But here, they didn't know that there's a judge for Link, and they push him. Like, if he had a Phantom, a Vandal, you would have a hard time, you would have a hard time because that recoil would be all over the place. But with the judge, it was easy. Here, though, you can see the successful attempt of the retake. That wall is just so helpful when you want to just attack the side and get the positioning first, get all the utility out, and you just kind of like divide and conquer your opponent, right? They were just stuck on this side. There were 2 snakes bites first used on the defaulting positions on the site itself, and then when they raised the Viper wall, they just went in, right? And no one
Yeah.
at the back in the back room of the boat could have just taken any fights with them. So that was great planning from Fnatic.
Yeah, Fnatic seemed to, again, it comes down to the clutch moments, right, that needed to happen for Team Liquid in order for them to pull off a few of those wins, get their momentum back. But Fnatic's just pure retake strategy thought process has been really a marvel to watch for sure. So, yeah, and I believe now, though, we do have our interview standing by. So Dash all the way over in Reyjavik, Iceland as our Verizon post-match interview, this time with Team Liquid's Coach Sliggy.
Thank you so much, Golden Boy. I am joined by Sliggy, coming off of a loss, a tough one at that. So right off the bat, I want to thank you for taking the time after it to come talk to me. That said, both maps very, very close. So talking about this matchup, again, a regional matchup, one that you've played through before, I'm curious, what, if anything, you felt was the difference maker today in terms of the way the result broke?
Honestly, a lot of it came down to this momentum, I think. There's quite a lot of mistakes on our behalf as well that maybe shouldn't be in there. Definitely a good one to just go back and watch and just try and just keep on improving. We made like good progress the last 2 months, but yeah, just some of these mistakes just can't be happening at this point in the stage. So yeah, just something that we got to keep on working on, keep on looking out for, and keep on improving. But yeah, they had a good bit of momentum, and yeah, we kind of struggled with it.
Totally fair, totally fair. But again, it was a beautiful show, to say the least. When we expand out to the tournament as a whole, it's a top 4 finish at the very first international LAN for Valorant. I'm kind of curious from your perspective how you feel about the team's performance versus the expectations coming in, and where you guys are at, in your journey.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to be. I'm a bit disappointed because obviously, I just want to thrive to win, right? That's why we're all here. That's why we're competing. So yeah, it's a bit disappointed. Definitely think that we could have done a bit better, but like I said, just a few many mistakes. But yeah, hopefully we can just come in, just learn, come back stronger, and aim for the first place in Berlin coming up.
Well, speaking of learnings and just in general, what this event has meant, there's been so much conversation from start to finish about the clash of regional styles. And I'm curious, now that we're kind of cresting to the back end of the event as a whole, where you sit, particularly from your position as a coach in studying those different, regional styles, and ultimately if you think you've learned anything specific from any one particular region.
Yeah, I think just maybe we can play a bit faster. It's definitely something I've learned. A lot of the NA style, the Brazilian style, it's a lot faster than what we're used to. It actually took us a while to adapt. There's definitely in scrims that definitely we took us a while to kind of realize just how fast it was and get used to it. So yeah, there's definitely stuff we can take away. Every region plays their own little style. It's pretty cool that there's so many ways to play this game. So yeah, we're definitely going to try and just take things from every single region and yeah, just improve our team in general.
Well, from here we set our sights forwards. We're looking at Masters 3. We're looking at Champions, of course, at the end of the year. I just want to give you an opportunity to give a message out there to any of the Team Liquid fans, who've been supporting you up to this point and who look for you guys to continue climbing that mountain.
Yeah, sure. Definitely just thank you for all the support. Apologies that we didn't win. We're just going to try really hard to come back stronger. We're going to practice really hard, and hopefully we'll make you guys proud. But thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate it.
Now, finally, we've got Fnatic. They are moving on to play New Turn today, attempting to get back to that regional clash between NA and EU against Sentinels. Just quickly, from your perspective, you think this is the team to do it?
Yeah, I think it's the team to do it. I think we're going to see NA EU final for sure. And then, yeah, I'm going to go with the Fnatic boys to take it.
There it is, ladies and gents. Well, again, thank you so much, Sliggy, for taking the time. I really do appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Congratulations on the beautiful tournament.
Appreciate it.
From here, we're going to a break. When we come back, it's Fnatic stepping back onto the stage against New Turn.
신작으로 나온다는 이제 라이엇에서 네, 발로란트 이제 그 당시에는 프로젝트 A로 이렇게 나왔었는데 굉장히 기대하고 있었고 그리고 나오면은 그냥 이유가 없었어요. 그냥 무조건 해야겠다, 해봐야겠다라고 생각을 해서 한국에서 주어지는 첫 국가대표로 이제 발탁돼서 나간 대회이기 때문에 저는 사실 그 전 대회들은 개인적으로는 의미가 없다고 생각했어요. 개인적으로 너무너무 특별하다고 생각하고 일단 저희가 1차 마스터즈는 준우승을 했거든요. 챌린저스 했던 것보다 더 2배 이상 네, 열심히 해야 될 것 같아요. 저희 막내 서제스트 선수가 경기를 만약에 지게 되면 굉장히 분해하고 네, 혼자 막 열받아 있진 않은데 그래도 막 그냥 경기 지면 침대에 가서 그냥 안 나오고 약간 네, 많이 분해하는 것 같아요.
세계대회라 솔직히 안 떨릴 수는 없을 것 같아요. 너무 큰 대회다 보니까. 일단은 저희가 초반에는 많이 어려웠고 팀도 합도 잘 안 맞고 했는데 계속 경기를 치르면서 저희가 부족한 게 뭔지 알게 됐고 이제 서로 간의 시너지, 합이 맞춰지면서 첫 번째로 상대를 파악하는 능력과 이제 좀 순간적인 플레이어들의 개인기가 좀 많이 필요할 것 같아요. 무조건 결승까지는 가야 된다고 생각해요.
국가대표로 왔으니까 저희도 최대한 좋은 모습 보여드리려고 노력하고 지금도 많이 연습을 하고 있고.
Welcome back, everyone, to Masters Reyjavik. Our next match is New Turn Gaming versus Fnatic Korea versus Europe. And Fnatic need to regroup, and they'll have to face off against a team that's been watching them all day. And I'm going to address the elephant in the room here. Clearly, we have some bias on our panel, as you all wonderful viewers can see at home. At least it's not Veli with the, with that freaking bald eagle shirt on. I like it. I like it. But it would be crazy though if in your predictions you end up picking Fnatic. That would be really awkward. But you know what though? Let's actually go ahead and Vel, I'll start this off with you, man, because there is a lot on the shoulders of this New Turn team. They did not have the best showing against Sentinels yesterday. They know that they have gaps in their play style. Their pressure is on here for this squad.
The pressure is on, but you know what? I look at the content pieces that we put out before every play day, and they're so confident to where it's almost cocky. These players from Korea, they came into the scene. Not a lot of people had big expectations for them. Then slowly, you see players like Solo, you see Suggest, you see all of them pop off doing their own thing individually. I don't think the pressure is going to do anything to them because they have so much to prove, and they think they could be Fnatic, and I don't blame them, man. Against Sentinels, their guns weren't too hot, but this is the perfect matchup for them. I'm so excited.
Yeah, well, play, and then talking with you on our comms, New Turn play, and then talking with you on our comms and hearing you mauled over certain moments. Because there are some things that New Turn does, and they do it over and over again, and it's just not working. They're getting caught, not looking in corners. They're pushing the same spots. They're getting flustered, as Veli had pointed out. What does New Turn need to do here, especially considering they're coming off of a kind of a butt slapping there against Sentinels?
You know what? First, I think I'm talking macro here, right? They need to ban Haven. Like, I cannot express how important that is because I cannot believe that the Icebox is worse than their Haven. And I know this kind of sounds rough, but their Haven is really not showing up. They are messy there. It seems to lack intent when they use their utility. There's just no concise plan on Haven, both on defense and attack. And I hope they're gonna ban it this time. But when it comes to micro stuff, I hope this is the easiest thing to fix because you just need to fix your bad habits from your previous games, like Solo not checking corners when looking. That was making me mauled so much. It suggests using his showstopper and just utility in general without anyone being ready to follow it up.
Play off
even
of it.
he wasn't even ready to follow it up. So that's those small things. They fix that, they can really be a great team, but they need to fix those fundamentals. Those fundamentals. They need that needs to be fixed ASAP.
Yeah, Golden Boy, they do a few things that I actually like, but they do it at the beginning of the game. The 4 to a site, the 4 straight down B long pushes. I want to see New Turn switch it up entirely. Do that round 7. Do it round 8. Throw teams off guard. Do what we saw Liquid do earlier where they ice walled half the map and just, swarmed the team for a pinch. New turn, I expect their strategies to be out of this world, man. The small mistakes they can come back from, but they need to show us more.
Yeah, and something that Paper Thin, and we've been talking about this whole time, is that New Turn, they do have that tendency to start out cold, right? They lose that first map, then they start to get the ball rolling, if you will. That simply cannot happen here against a game Fnatic.
No, it really, really can't. They had even against Damwon Kia in the the Stage 2 finals in Korea. They started out 0-6 against them on Bind of all maps, so it is considered to be their best map, and they still ended up winning. But this absolutely cannot happen here anymore. They have to turn it around. They have to find some answer, whether it be Haven or Icebox, to get something done, because these guys, it looked brutal against the Sentinels, but all the credit in the world has to go to the Sentinels. They're an incredible, incredible team. They're so powerful. And real quick, I just want to give a shout out to the New Turn organization. Jacob Ook, their manager, hooked me up with this today. He went out of his way to help me get this little sponsorship going. So many thanks to him and New Turn. I'm really rooting for them, of course, but it's been an awesome tournament for Korea to come through here, to get all the way through to the Sentinels and to be playing for a chance at the finals.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Exciting.
It's incredible. And Lothar, I'm going to bring you in on this one real fast. And I know you wanted to cover a point on New Turn, but also I think this could lead into Fnatic here, because here is the challenge. For the first time in Masters Reyjavik, a team is going to be playing games back-to-back. And Valorant is a very draining game. That matchup against Team Liquid was, that one went the distance.
Well, fortunately for Fnatic, it wasn't a map, right? So only 2 maps was actually way better result for them than what they expected, because I think everyone was just expecting a 2-1 result, one way or the other. But it is actually a big thing, because now Fnatic is one of those teams that really likes to be prepared for their opponent, right? So they had to prepare for Liquid, and they had to prepare also before that match against Nurturn. So this is one of the reasons why we even didn't see the interview, right? Because they just need to have every single minute for the preparations. That's so important. I know Boaster is just a madman when it comes to like making notes, preparing those setups against specific strats of the opponent. Like an example against Team Liquid, I wasn't talking about that, but on the pistol round, they actually use a completely different setup on defense, on Ascent, than in the match against V1, and that actually funneled Team Liquid into their setup. They lost the pistol anyway because the duels didn't go their way, but you can see the amount of preparation that goes from Fnatic, and that is a huge part of their pedigree. And I'm just wondering, how much time did they actually get for the New Turn preparations, right? How much does it affect that they have to play back-to-back games, and it's a best of 3? So, yeah, it is actually a very big question mark.
Yeah, and if I could, I'd really like to see New Turn kind of learn from some of their mistakes, learn from these wasted opportunities they have with their showstoppers and other things. You can see teams just play back whenever a showstopper is available on New Turn, because they know that the modus operandi is going to be blast back in and then try to go for a pick, and it just, you could see in the match yesterday versus Sentinels, the Sentinels just let them have whatever site they felt like pushing into, waited for that showstopper to run out, and then came for their retake. And so I think New Turn really needs to be aware of their own kind of failings and try to account for those.
Yeah, well, they've had some time to digest all of that as they've been sitting in the lower bracket finals. The winner of this will move on in New Turn's case, or actually both teams' case, have a rematch against Sentinels. And for those of you at home, make sure you're following us on Twitter and Instagram at Valorant Esports for the latest news, highlights, and predictions. And go on Twitter and vote right now who you think is going to win. This is it. The winner moves on to the grand finals of Masters Reyjavik. Veli, who do you have winning this epic confrontation?
I'm going to be real, man. This is a close one. It's going to look so good. Fnatic look great, but I'm rock with the Koreans. I believe in Lakia. He is a star.
No way.
New Turn.
You have shattered my brain, Veli. Okay, go on, Paper Thin. Who you got?
I love him.
Who you got? Who you got, Paper Thin?
It's a hard choice for me. Fnatic, it's a really good team. Fnatic was nuts in that last game, but I think New Turn, fighting.
Wow, okay. So I did not expect Veli to go New Turn. Honestly, That kind of blew my mind a little bit. And Lothar, you're picking why?
Dude, I mean, I'm picking Fnatic, and it's not because I'm from EU, by the way. It has nothing to do with where I come from. Okay, I think I'm always trying to be objective when it comes to like strengths and weaknesses, and this is why I'm picking Fnatic, because I feel like they win on every single front, on the map pool, on the personal level, on the micro level as well when it comes to strats, and when it comes to mental game, I feel like they have the upper hand as well. So all of those first four things combined, I feel like Newton we're gonna have a hard time. The only thing that is like working against Fnatic is the fact they're gonna play the best, a second best of 3 during one day with just like what 10 minutes pause or something like that.
Yeah, not allowing all that
So
time
I'm
to prep.
picking Fnatic, and it's not gonna be close.
Yeah, you would think that Fnatic, they had to prep for 2 teams, but there's still that gap of time that they're only going to have a few minutes to get ready to do so. It really is kind of a wild card here, but we are certainly going to be in for a fantastic match. And the players are getting prepped up, ready to go, and it's now time to send it over to our casters. 2 people who have such sultry, dulcet tones. It's Mitch Man and the Tom Biz Nass. Take it away, guys.
Well, you're too kind, Golden Boy. What an introduction. I feel like we've got a lot to live up to, but you know what? Even if we don't, the series will do it for us. What a game. Fnatic have just come off the back of getting revenge on Liquid and now looking to take down South Korea's finest. But Korea has been sat there on the sidelines watching the game, Tom. They might not come in warmed up off the back of a series, but they've certainly had their eye on what Fnatic want to do.
Oh, I'm sure. I bet Solo has a notepad absolutely filled with things that came out from the last game, but the question is it going to matter? We've got the battle that we were looking for. We've got Fnatic making it through to look to try and battle once again. Everybody wants to try and take down Sentinels. That's the only goal left at this tournament, but only one of them gets to do it.
I love this intro so much, man. Bring out the fog, bring out the players. Are we going to get any showmanship out of them today, Tom? That's the question on my mind. It looks like we'll get an answer pretty soon. What is going on here? All right. Well, you'll never see me do any of that. I don't have even 1% of that flexibility. But Boaster, he's certainly one for the showmanship. New Turn bringing out a little bit of style in their own entrance. I like it, man. You see energy on both sides of the field.
Imagine being the guy who has to go after Boaster each time. Like, the guy who's going to come in rowing on the floor. You're just like, yeah, and I'm Mystic. Hello. Like, how do you even compete with the showmanship of Boaster? Well, the Koreans don't necessarily have to do that. They've just got to compete with them within the server. And damn, look at the flex.
Yeah, literal flex, right? Big muscles, not even any sleeves can contain those muscles, but will he be able to flex on the server? We even had some finger guns coming up, but I love it. You can tell just from the way that these guys interact with each other, the respect they have as competitors, and you may bet that between these 2 teams, it's going to be a damn close battle, but what might define it is the veto. When we come down to things, Tom, talk me through what we're going to expect out of this veto.
Well, the first one's no surprise. An Icebox ban is something I think we can expect from Newturn in every single series throughout this tournament. I know that they've had their problems on other maps, but they just don't really play Icebox. The split ban disappoints me a little bit, I'll be honest. Like, they floated it in the last map to get Haven out of the pool, but I think feeling a little bit more comfortable here. And who would have thunk it, Fnatic picking Bind, the map that they are still yet to lose on? Sure, they've only played against EMEA opposition on it, Mitch, but it's one of those maps that it's just the comfort pick for them. Ascent, another, which is good for Fnatic, but again, these are good maps for Newton. I think that's the thing we have to look at here is the permabans of each side are gone. We are left within the middle ground. We are left within maps that they are both comfortable within, and more importantly, sure, there's been slip-ups here and there, but I think both teams have only really had those major issues, either testing new comps or facing Sentinels.
So Bind's going to be our first map up, as you said. This team of Fnatic, they don't lose on this map. And we're talking about the full 5-man. Even if we're only going by core 3, you go to the old lineup, they were always dominant and innovating when it came down to Bind. This is the staple of Fnatic's play and a tough battleground for Newturn to take it in the first, especially when you look at how things have gone for them. Most recently, the battle they had in the upper bracket against Sentinels here in Masters. Yes, they beat Sharks initially, but that Sentinels game, Tom, it did not look too good from New Turn.
Yeah, for sure. I think they definitely struggled within that, but I want to point out that everybody has struggled against Sentinels in this tournament. So although it definitely wasn't the performance they were looking for, prior to that, they had won that map 11 times in a row, including beating Vision Strikers multiple times and absolutely destroying Sharks in the early stages of this tournament. Now, sure, this is a map that we know Fnatic are going to thrive on. There's no question there. Their after-plant meta that you almost think that they created in many ways. But I do want to point out, again, some of the individuals on the other side of things, players that you almost have to watch when going into this map. And again, I'm always going to point out Solo. Like, I don't think he's necessarily the star performer, the top fragger, but the way that he uses his utility specifically on Bind just makes things so awkward for players. I think especially when we get onto that B site, and his combinations with Suggest are always going to be something that we want to watch within this map. So sure, the afterplants from Fnatic, the retakes are going to be very good, but just keep an eye on Solo and how he is playing that breach utility.
It's a really interesting point that you brought up as well about Fnatic and how they've only played this against EMEA opponents, because it's almost the same for New Turn. When we talk about when they're winning all their games, it was versus the Korean opponents, right? They've only had that one game versus Sharks that was extremely good, and then versus Sentinels, which, as you said, Sentinels have dominated everyone in this tournament, so I wouldn't read too much into that. This won't be a weak map for them. It's one that they know, and we're looking at agent picks right now. And I will say, for New Turn, they have a familiar composition on this map, but it's one that we haven't seen for kind of a couple of months when it comes to EMEA play, at least.
Yeah, for sure. Like this, as said, like this is a matchup where I think we could basically predict exactly what the teams were going to be choosing before we even got into the server. Like there's been some adaptations on other maps for New Turn. Like they tried to switch up their Haven comp a couple of times, but when it comes to Bind, this is what they feel comfortable with. And I think if they went for a risky change here, I would actually be more worried than I would be happy going into this next matchup. At the same time, again, I'm have to look at Solo. I think that breach coming in is going to be something we have to highlight. It was a popular agent for this map for a very good reason, although I think the changes have been made because the combination you see from Viper and Sky can just be truly terrifying. The ability to just flash through those screens and make your way onto the site. Either way, Mitch, we're getting into our first map. One of these teams goes on to the final. The other is out of the tournament. And I'm beaming. I got a massive smile on my face.
You know, if you watch New Turn play this versus Sentinels, you'll be thinking, Perry, man, he wasn't really hot. He's maybe not a good player even, if that was the only exposure you've had. But I guarantee it will not be the same here. He had a tough time dealing with Dapper and Tens over in that game. I think he finished the map with 1 kill. It was really, really tough because he's someone that I look to do a lot of damage for New Turn. But Lakia, he's the one to keep an eye on if you don't know New Turn. If you don't know Fnatic, watch out for those post plants. They're on the attacking side to start it out. And it looks like we're going to have a spread out bit of map control, right? They're sitting outside Bath, outside mid, but then the rotate comes in, and you can see they're eyeing up that B site, even though their Viper Wall's down on A.
Yeah, the gamble that comes in for Lakia is something that they like to do on both sides of the map. He's lurker on attack, and he's going to be left alone to defend when it comes to this side. Now, realistically, probably just going to try and hold on to elbow. Keep that map control. Don't allow Fnatic to take it away. The issue... Oh, okay, he's actually going to get the kill before the scan, and that advantage alone could be enough.
Oh, they knew exactly where Fnatic wanted to plant that for the post plants. Durka in a little bit of trouble, caught out in that fight. Perry already with his first on the board. The TP play that gives New Turn now a 2-man advantage. Looking in for the retake on this pistol. Oh, everything's going their way. Tagging up Doma. It's an easy spam to take him down. And although Magnum gets 1 from long, he's being rushed down. Still in for a triple. Mystic playing the post plant, able to take down Solo inside of the poison orb in the snake fight. Perry runs in there as well. He's got it halfway. Mystic missing the spam, picks up a frenzy out of bullets, and he's actually managed to win the pistol with a defuse inside the smoke. What a play by Perry. A close round, and hopefully that's a sign of what's to come here, as it's now 1-0 for New Turn.
It is amazing that you highlight the man who didn't manage to get basically any kills versus Sentinels, and he gets 3 kills in the pistol round and defuses directly in front of his opponent. A huge play. I think we have to give some credit to Magnum here, though, because that round shouldn't have even been close. Sure, they had the post-plant set up. Sure, they had players waiting to try and deny the defuse. But the fact he gets 3 kills while they're pushing him, he's having a day. Like, it's unusual that we don't see Durka topping the server in the previous series. It was actually Magnum.
I love that first. Just that start to it, man. It's already given me tingles. And not only did we mention Perry, we mentioned the post plans from Fnatic, and in the pistol, where you're usually lighter on utility, we even see them come out. A beautiful sign of what this game can bring us. This round has seen a force buy by Fnatic. They've come in, they've wanted to fully invest, and you see the utility coming in, but the judge almost capitalizes onto Doma. Lucky that flick didn't fully extend, and the Ares out of control allows the site to go to Fnatic. Despite the first round going to Newturn, they are now on the back foot, having to retake B with a man disadvantage. And they know that all 3 are in spawn, thanks to that Sky ultimate.
And the utility pop towards to try and hold them back. They've still got all that delay as well. In just a moment from Mystic, the push coming back through, but Suggest already manages to find an opener, turning things back into a 3v3, but they know where these players are going to be, and they're just trying to get on that defuse straight away. The problem is, every single time, there are those snake bites just looking to deny them. Durka already picking off another, and well, Perry, can you do it twice?
Oh, let's have a gander. I somehow think the clock is going to be a bigger enemy than the 3 players that he's facing, but big boy Mystic is the one to take him down. And falls to the spike in the end. I mean, it's a little bit costly, but the economy is always going to be sporadic at this stage. 1-1, we're tied up. A disappointing start for Newturn after winning the pistol, especially in the fashion they did. You're thinking, okay, this is it, right? The moneymaker round. But they just get caught by surprise that Fnatic actually have those weapons to take the ranged fights, and I think it's particularly the one on B long that puts that round into a very bad spot.
This time, we know that the defender forces can always be that little more difficult. Looking like an attempt to try and at least battle for some closer map control, put that utility to use, but Fnatic, they're looking to clear this. Already popping utility through, knowing their players are in this position and wrapping in behind them. They're actually going to go for a plant before clearing this. It makes me a little bit uncomfortable, but it seems like Magnum has them covered.
Yeah, they're just containing the players right now. They know where the threat can come from. They know the control that they have. Boaster's coming in behind them, which, I mean, he got a kill, but the risk there, well, that's a little bit scary. You want to be saving all 4 of these weapons at this stage, and they just about get away with it.
That one.
3 HP on Magnum, 20 on Mystic. If they end up losing both of those rifles, that's 1 extra bullet connected to each of them, which is perfectly reasonable to expect that to have happened. Then this wouldn't actually be a bonus round. All of a sudden, you're in a spot where you have to basically full buy right now and put your economy on the line. But instead, they get away with 4 players, and so they're going to have a comfortable position with only 1 rifle bought up on Durka and still plenty of cash left over.
Looking at the setup as well from Newturn, I'm expecting them to battle for B control. Like, you can see already a multitude of players just looking for that angle. They love to challenge for any sort of control. Allow already going very deep. Now you have to bear in mind there's only a couple of rifles on the other side. One of them is in the hands of Durka though! He takes 2 for absolutely nothing. Some HP lost in return, and well, he'll take that all day long.
Yeah, just Durka things, man. 18 HP on his way back towards probably Magnum to get his health back up at this stage as well. That's ridiculous. And for Newturn, you're coming up against 1 proper rifle, right? There's a Bulldog, but let's be real. And that's the one you run into. You are not a happy camper. Oh, Boaster might be getting a fight of his own here. Stim Beacon comes in. He hasn't spotted Suggest creeping into the right side of Bathroom. He might think that the timing is his, and as he comes on in, Suggest catches him off guard. But again, it comes down to secure and contain. They know these players are inside of Bath, and so they're content to just move back, but Magnum lurks it out and very nearly catches them by surprise, but Perry, ever vigilant, is the one to take him down. Solo? Oh, they haven't cleared out long! They left the planter all alone. Mystic really just sold down the river on that one. Solo needs to stay alive. His teammates are on the way, and a 3 versus 2 retake is perfectly doable here for Newturn.
With how the round started, we were almost locking this one in as a Fnatic round. Instead, it comes up as a clutch. Doma in a good position. Durka and Doma, the 2 players you want, and already isolating Solo. Bear in mind, this is somewhat of a bonus round. The shock dance being used to try and clear out some of the angles, but with spotting nobody from behind, they have to realize it's over this side, and Doma, he's already going to pick up another one. It's left all onto Perry, and Doma just finishes off all 3. Another round picked up onto the board for Fnatic. A Newturn, that was one they really needed to win.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the thing. It started out in such a depressing way with losing their 2 players when they looked for that B control. They end up falling, but they recover it. That fumble is pulled completely back in combination with the A play, but also Solo down on long, and then it just falls apart. That hookah control that they had, Doma managed to extend out, possibly overextend a little bit into some of those fights, but he wins them, and that's the confidence rolling. Doma and Durka are the 2 guys you normally look to on Fnatic as kind of the bigger fraggers, right? The star players, and they're delivering very early on in this series, and we know that Newturn sometimes have trouble in connecting those early maps.
I don't think they've won a first map yet. So that's not a stat that you want to have, especially when one of the first games was versus Sharks. Now, Solo already going to be caught out. They're being a little bit more audacious in this round. You have to bear in mind that they don't really have too much. Yeah, you're right. Allow primed and ready to potentially take a kill, but, well, never mind. Magnum seemed to know exactly where he was. He's aware of everything.
Yeah, I think Allow just threw a knife at him as he ran on by, but missed the shot, it seemed like, on the minimap while that skirmish was going down on the B side. A disaster, in a way. In the situation, like, they had an opportunity to get a flank, drop a weapon, but hey, when you've got pistols, you're not really expected to get away with very much damage. We say this all the time. Perry still drops a weapon, picks up a rifle, and he is hightailing it. But they're already here. They're waiting for him to run away. He knows that they're going to be hunting him down. And so he goes back into his smoke to catch them off. The timing there, perfect. I love this from Perry. And now he's got Mystic contained. This spike will take him down. Perry wants to just keep him here, make it as costly as possible, and gets away with 4. What was that? I mean, we talk about, oh, you got pistols, you're not expected to do much. Well, Perry, you're certainly living up to the name that we gave you at the start of the map. 8 kills on the board already.
I don't know what side of the bed that Perry woke up on, but whichever one it was, he's got to do that for the rest of his life, because his aim so far in this map alone has just been unbelievable. These last couple of shots were ridiculously clean, and you have to put it in the context of the round. He has made things incredibly costly. I was about to start setting up my sort of post-round analysis as like, okay, this is getting scary now because Fnatic have a load of money. Well, instead, the credits, they're not as good as they would have been if they kept the rest of the players alive.
When you start with pistols, that's almost as valuable as a round win. You're right there. The damage that they have done to the economy in that round, especially when it was a 1v5, unbelievable. Perry, MVP already. Let's see what else they can do, because now Fnatic are pushing forward on long. Allows in trouble. The dash doesn't get him into the TP, but he makes it away in the end. The pressure being applied by Fnatic, countered out by the Rolling Thunder, and Solo, he's somehow still alive. He is so low on HP and all alone, but manages to make it into the corner and win another duel on 40 HP. That is an unbelievable round from Newturn. A great counter to the B aggression that was coming in. That Rolling Thunder just saved the day.
I feel like Solo's starting to give like some of our analysts some hope that they'll be able to come back as professional players, because this man is still just showing that the age really is just a number. Like, unbelievable stuff from him in this round. Aggressive team back in. Okay, the first one, a little bit shaky, but after that, just wrecking Doma, the 17-year-old, put into the dirt, and Newturn, they've got back onto the board. And as we sort of mentioned, now this is basically the cash running out for Fnatic. They get the 1 bonus. Solo's not stopping. He's got a crossfire with a Lao, doubling up together. He'll have the flash as well to get them out of there if they find a pick. Just trying to deny that extra map control. They know Fnatic want to get into the afterplants. They know that's where their agents and all of their utility will come into play. But just don't allow them to get anywhere near that site.
Yeah, don't allow them. I like it, though. Only one player spotted. They don't manage to see 3. That's a shame. The aggression comes down because they still presume, I guess, that there's more players. Maybe they heard the step. That's going to be a problem. With Solo down, you got a much more passive play on A. Only 2 players to defend this. Allow able to grab 1. His dash not even used on that shot, so he can play that a little bit more aggro now, actually, and come out towards Lamps. He's going to have to do it quickly because his teammates are under pressure. That shot landing for damage, and Suggest follows up, allows in with more. 15 HP after being heavily tagged up. He is somehow still alive, and that operator, regardless of health, is going to be invaluable coming into the later stages. A shock dart delivered right to Boaster's lap. He's down to 37 health and getting... What? Maybe he's not getting out of here. He wants the head peek angle, and Suggest is quick to give him the opportunity. Dirk sneaking around the backside, the final bastion of hope for Fnatic. He spotted the player in the left corner. He's moving up behind. There's the first, but Suggest, he's been too clean in this round, and the defuse was there anyways. 4-3.
Really solid round from Newturn in the end, especially how it began. You just see some of the re-aggression coming out from the operator. Allow so quick to get a kill and get out of there, but more importantly, just his rotational positioning, just picking off players. And this is the 1-2 punch of this team. Him and Suggest just running riot and a quick reposition. So I didn't realize it was basically a straight 180 shot. So they look like they've risen up to the occasion after a little bit of a slow start. And now Fnatic are on the back foot. They're going to come in with 1 rifle once again, but I don't want to count my chickens just yet, because after the last time they had 1 rifle, it still became incredibly costly.
A little recon coming in to clear back sight. Not fully, but it does the job. Pulls them off the angle, allows you to push in. Allow now trapped all by himself. Blade Storm in hand, but Boaster's up behind him. The pistol's already taking down an operator, putting it into their hands. Lakia having to go down to low HP, in through all of that decay. He's behind enemy lines and they have no idea. That was fantastic. The rest of the team's calling for it, but it doesn't look like Doma was aware. Now Lakia moving around the side. He's going to look for another victim and spots them out on long. This is dangerous with the side swipe Magnum got. Perry conscious that maybe they'll rotate back, but, well, gonna realize that ain't the case pretty soon. Spike gets planted, and now the question you have to ask yourself is, do you go for this 1 versus 3? And you know that they can potentially have an operator? I'm not sure.
It's a rough spot to be in, especially with, again, their finances not being massively built up over the last few rounds, being fairly close. The execution from Fnatic in this one as well, just making things incredibly awkward. That Viper's Pit used to just take control of the site. Now Perry is all that's left. Now what he can do in this round, although winning seems fairly unlikely, unless of course they leave, he can make things very costly. Deny some of the weapons being saved. The chance for victory is null, but he has made it so that only 2 players survive. Fnatic, though, winning that on what was, as said, just 1 rifle and some pistols. I think a Marshall was brought up as well. And the main commitment there is just that Viper's Pit. And it basically just turned everything into chaos.
Oh, it absolutely did. And especially on the retake, that cements the fact that you're not going to go for it, because it's a 1v3 into Viper's Pit, plus they can have an operator. No, you're not going to risk that. I do like the damage that Perry gets in the end, and the fact that the players spot him and instantly run the other way. Wise choice after what happened last time. And also, the spike would have taken them down. We're at 5-3. Fnatic have the lead, but this is their map, man. This is the map that they dominate in the EMEA region, and their first international challenge is not looking very easy, certainly not looking clean. And Suggest he's up close with a judge. We know how this one goes. The first is a drop, and immediately that's going to be the spike spotted. He'll be pushed out by a snake bite, but the damage from his nade, although it'll take him down, it got him the frag on the Doma. Magnum creeps out on the back side. It's down to a 2v2. Somehow, the odds have equalized. Fnatic, they're not that far behind. They'll get the spike plant. A terrible start to the round and maybe a terrible finish with Mystic now left alone. At least he has the info on the player in heaven, but he doesn't know where Allow is. And look at the weapon that this guy has in his hands. The tag didn't come in. Actually didn't manage to get it out, but Allow's creeping behind him. Oh, he's on his way. Oh no, Mystic, good night and sweet dreams. You don't win against a judge from that range.
Yeah, they may not have necessarily adapted all of their meta to what we're seeing from North America and EMEA, but one thing that the Koreans are more than happy to pick up is the judge. I think that's something that over this tournament, a few different players have cemented. I think Link in the last map, I think we see Vanity throughout the entirety of the tournament just proved that that gun is, well, I would say ridiculous. And what Suggest just managed to do there, well, he was too powerful for his own good. He had to take himself out of the server. Otherwise, no one else would have been able to do it. So it's another bounce back round, a back and forth throughout the last. And now Fnatic again, there's going to be a few pieces missing here and there. Durka with the Sheriff, though. For some reason, I still have faith in this guy at this point.
Oh, of course. We're starting to garner that faith for a lot of these players. Allow, oh, he's going to be spotted out even on the other side. Here comes the ultimate as well, the showstopper. He dashes out of the way. He's burned the ultimate at least. Oh, but the spot down below, this is dangerous. Running away, Solo has to concede a lot of control. The good thing is they don't know about Perry. They now know there's 2 players on long, but Perry should be undetected, especially with the noise that's being made out towards B long. But Fnatic, they don't want to mess around with this. They smell something fishy. They know that this just doesn't feel right. And so a rotate towards the A site comes in where only Suggest is waiting for them.
Can still at least do his best to slow them down, but maybe just saving after the first one would have been the better call. Allow his teammates to try and rotate in, and Magnum, well, he knows there's a man on the other side. The problem is Mystic actually falls. That's the spike down. He'll wait patiently and just about gets the drop on him. They're now going to submit as well the second ult, but the kill come out from Doma. It's into the 1v1 situation, and Magnum, he's got to get the spike down.
Oh, I like the early rotate by Perry.
Left.
This is so smart. He knows exactly what this guy is going to do. He's in Magnum's head. Already in spawn without a step made, weapon in hand as he creeps out. The plant is tapped. Magnum suspected it and caught him off guard, reading New Turn's playbook. That is going to be another round for Fnatic. A close one, but it's on the board for Red.
I love that. It's like Perry makes the 200 IQ play and then Magnum goes, you didn't know I was 201 IQ? Like, just unbelievable read from him. And that's the thing. He plants that there. There's a chance he wins the round, but the fact is Perry has so much ground in his position that he probably gets there before he actually finishes the plant. So intelligent from Magnum. As I said, he is having a day and a half. He wants to get back in that final. I know Fnatic, well, and New Turn both want their revenge on Sentinels. Whether they get it is another thing altogether. Again, though, I hate the look of this buy. Like, it's got a lot of pieces missing, but there's 2 judges on the server, and for New Turn, who knows, that could be enough.
You know, we got to the stage where we couldn't discount rounds where you had 5 frenzies. Adding in the judge just makes it seem
Bucky's.
Or Bucky's, right? I mean, Bucky FC. We're talking about Fnatic here when we say that. Shout out the EMEA peeps who know what's up. But when it comes to New Turn right now, they've got a good chance in a lot of fights that they want to take. Solo inside of Hookah, you're not going to want to run into a judge there. We've already seen them take down one earlier on, and we know that you can get so much more. And Suggest is the other one. He's holding out on mid. I think that's there's a one-way smoke there, right? To stop them as they come on through. But that smoke's going to fade away, and now he's in a bit of trouble. He's being spotted. He's just going to be taken down. Showstopper pop. It might delay them a little bit, but he's still going to get tagged up in the end. Now closing the distance. I like this shift up of positions, and all he's good for is damage, but that allows Allow to get a kill in the end. A good trade with a classic. New Turn are making this costly already, and they'll look to one-up it on that. They need to win this round, really, for there to be any impact. Second last round of the game. I don't see it going their way now.
Player standing.
Dim beacon here.
Oh, there's a judge. And there's 3 players to find. Unfortunately, the angle in which Solo's coming through makes it very unlikely. In fact, he's going to opt for the classic, and Durka makes sure there's no chances there. I like the way that Fnatic play that round, like even committing an ultimate or two just to make sure that they're not taking any real risks, and I really have no problem with that. I think a lot of teams have started to do that, like either in your anti-eco rounds throwing out an ult or two, or in your eco rounds doing exactly the same. You see it on the other side from Suggest, hoping to, as you said, try and delay and do some damage. The problem now, though, 7 rounds already on the board for Fnatic. Their defense, it isn't weak. Like, they've proven it before. I think they, versus Gambit, went 9-3 down or something, still managed to win that match. So, New Turn definitely have an uphill battle. Another round on the board could make all the difference.
Absolutely. I mean, another round on the board plus a fist. Oh my god, wow, that's aggression and a half. The paranoia, the dash, the play, but it doesn't go New Turn's way. Fnatic again managed to pull it into a 2-man advantage. They've overrun the ace side, and Suggest probably the best hope of this round is cut off by Mystic. They were ready and waiting for that flank. Lakia, a big name within the Korean scene, is coming out with shock darts and dealing damage, but a 1v4, all he gets is the 1. 8-4 in the end. The pistol round almost becomes a win condition now for New Turn in this half.
Yeah, a really solid half from Fnatic. Definitely had a slip-up or two along the way, losing a round to the shotguns, but showing why time and time again their attack is so deadly. I do love these little setups, though, coming out from New Turn. Like the paranoia through to give Allow the chance with the dash to get up close. Like he goes for that dash without that paranoia. He's shot in the head within a second. So nice little setups from them. Unfortunately, it seems like in a lot of these cases, Fnatic have been very careful with the way that they're taking map control. Like they'll have the flashes through. They'll have the drone to clear some of those angles. They're trying to make sure that these cheeky plays from New Turn are not going to catch them anymore.
I mean, that was 1 bullet away from success and not losing 2 players inside of showers. And I really like the attempt, man, because it's not just about how they pushed in to take the control. It's also like the added layer that they looked at it and said, okay, we're going to have a weaker weapon here. We're going to have a Spectre. How do we maximize the impact that this weapon can have, or the potential impact of this weapon? How do you do it? Well, they decided to pop in the paranoia, to dash in, and you saw 1 bullet away pretty much from getting a second kill and converting that into a 2-man advantage. But time and time again, Fnatic are ready for these aggressive plays. I'd say that's one of the only times they've been caught off guard by it so far. Now we look at the defensive side, and this is where Fnatic are also very difficult to deal with. Their attack is innovation, but I feel like if you know how to play defensive side bind, you won't be caught off by that as much as you will be caught off by their defense, because the way that they use Viper here, the map basically changes round on round.
Yeah, I think as well, one of the things that they're very good at is just counter utility to plants. Like they've got so much available to them, be it with the snake bite, the Molotov as well, even just counter flashes that they'll put through. So they're going to look to make things awkward. But as said, I really like the B execution that it basically revolves around a combination of solo plus 1. Like there's normally a player dashing into the site or a player blast packing into the site, and then he just has all of his utility placed to try and clear out those angles. So the close corner put in from a fault line, you'll have the aftershock to clear out the tube. Like he makes things very awkward for players to defend with. The difference, though, is that Fnatic are not necessarily going to let you just get to the site to start with. They're going to challenge for map control.
The coaches put their headsets down, and we're back ready, rocking and rolling. As Fnatic want aggression out on mid, they spotted someone, so they knew Suggest had to be close, clearing their angles, and almost paying a hefty price for that kill. It's traded back into a 4v4, low HP on Lakia, and no one that can heal him on up. In a pistol round, that can make all the difference. Fnatic, not necessarily in the best of spots, though, because now their numbers are thinned and they were stuck on B. Doma doesn't get pressured, and they make the immediate rotate to A and then back. They're a little bit confused on where they should be going. A vacuum of information currently exists, and New Turn, well, they give away a player on B, but the plant is already down.
Solo hoping maybe they'd pull the rotation with the plant being attempted. Instead, so much control currently in place aggressive positioning over towards the showers is going to make things very awkward. And in fact, all there really is at the moment for this attacking side is lamps. They've got to try and hold within it. Nade to try and clear that corner, although Allow pushes out, manages a headshot. Perry alongside him as well. Pistols have been the bane of Fnatic's life, and it seems like Newturn are going to pile on.
Fnatic and pistol rounds, man. And right there, Perry had the perfect reaction on that close fight they took in towards the spawn. He popped the paranoia. One thing that we've seen, and I'm talking even amongst top 10 teams, top 20 worldwide, is the paranoia sometimes being a little bit too wide, and it hits the teammate that you're trying to help entry. Right there, it was at the right angle that it caught the player that was towards the spawn, but didn't actually hit Allow, which meant that he could swing out wide, take that kill, and bridge it into a 2v2. Then they just take the duels together. Beautiful textbook Valorant book FPS shooter. Nice opening, damage at least on the solo, down to 75 HP, but this is one of the only pistols that they have. Fnatic, they've got 3 classics right now, and I think they're about to lose their sheriff. They've not.
Just tries to tank everything. Lakia using a pistol of his own, and it becomes quite an awkward battle, but he wins it nonetheless. Doma, he needs an instant headshot here. Only has 1 bullet left in the chamber as well, so chances of finding anything seem slim. And again, there's always those setup flashes from Solo just to make sure that Suggest has the easiest possible duels. Now they're taking their time. This is something Newturn will do in pretty much every game. Very happy to late rotate and take map control elsewhere, hold for any aggression that will come in from Fnatic. Of course, they don't have much in this round. You can afford to take your time. But by the looks of it, the remaining 2 players are just going to try and stick within this site and have a little bait and switch.
Dropping weapons, the name of the game here. If you're a Fnatic, and there's success with 2 on the board for Mystic. That's beautiful. Durka almost catches them by surprise. With 1 HP, he's dead! Surely! Oh my god! Fnatic should have gotten out of there with nothing, and instead, 3 kills in the last few seconds of the round? You'll take that. That's a very successful second round for Fnatic.
Yeah, especially when you consider how much was actually invested there. They'll take 3 kills all day long. Now, sure, there were a player or 2 on the other side who didn't actually purchase into this round, so they can go in with a little bit extra, but Mystic now pushing himself even further towards that ult, only a couple of points away. And, well, I suppose there is one up for Lakia, but it's more the lack of rifles that's on the Newturn side, which could make things a little bit awkward. Not necessarily in this round, but for the repurchase in the next.
Desperately hurts losing those weapons. If Newturn walk out with a loss here, they'll be kicking themselves. Weapons in hand for now, and very aggressive early round. Gets them 2 very quick kills. Although Allow goes down to a shock dart, they're converting kills very quickly over on the Fnatic side. So that story changes pretty quickly. Look at where Newturn have control of. Mid and inside of Lamps, 2 players stacked up. The nade will come in, and that Tiger did not spot Perry in the corner. He is now undetected, and with the steps heard out towards mid, Boaster still clears it, but Perry's got the bigger brain at the game. What is that? Suggest gives Magnum a little bit of a back rub on his way through. 8-7, Newturn got away with murder in that round.
And that's a round that's absolutely huge for their economy as well. That's a big build-up, considering that, okay, sure, it wasn't necessarily a bonus round, but it was one where they still had a few SMGs. And again, you just have to give credit over to these entry fraggers. These players pushing through Suggest as well, just over the top alongside Allow. And these 2 are sort of like the crux of this team. If they're performing, they could be so hard to play against. And while Fnatic, they did get themselves back into that round, but this one, well, you talked about Sheriff, that's basically all they have.
This time, at least, they've got fully upgraded pistols, right? It's not classics to back them up, but considering they got 3 kills on the board, with those classics, I might add, in the end, hey, I'm happy to see them go out for some duels. There's an upgrade. All right, Vandal in play. It's gone into the hands of Durka, and we've seen him be the lone rifle carrier that won them around over on the attacking side. Newturn have to be careful here. You don't want to give away too much, and too much might already be gone. They're losing weapons left, right, and center, and Durka in a 1 versus 3. He's got a bit of light shield to play with, and he's seen the 1v1, capitalizing on it. A 1v2, Perry already up close. He snuck in towards the spawn, and Perry's big brain pays off once again. Oh, 8-8 tied up, but again, NUTURN just keep losing so many weapons. At the stage that they're at, with the amount of rounds they've chained 4 in a row at this point, Tom, they should be very healthy economically. They should be approaching max money on everybody, and instead, they barely have enough credits to play the arcade machines.
It's taken some very good positioning as well from Perry in a few rounds to make sure that they don't let those rounds slip away, not allowing Durka to even get into his clutch mode, which we know can be devastating. We're going to see the early dart, which will give a little bit of information over to Mystic on the other side. The pit posted up, and actually they've doubled up a couple of players within Hookah as well. They've allowed for that ultimate to almost hold things down while they have this bait and switch. The distraction potentially there from Boaster, with 2 players having the ability to swing if anybody looks to fight.
Oh, Doma. If there's noise made here, like, even if Doma goes down, spotting Magnum out is going to be very, very difficult. You just wouldn't predict it, and they get him going in. There's no world in which you think Doma is here. Why would you? Well, you would now, because he's sprayed and tickled up Suggest. The showstopper taken out of play. Ulti comes in. There's the paranoia. Doma happy to play up close, though, because there's a smoke that he's hiding inside of. Perry's waiting for it to fade away on the other side. Tucked in at Hookah, but Doma was ready for that one. Flicking quickly. NUTURN have control of elbow, but not the sight, and they didn't know that. Boaster is tucked inside of the tube. This is getting awkward real quick for NUTURN. A 2v4. The control leaves these players completely split up, and Lakia now spotted as well. They know it wasn't just the Jet that snuck inside. The whiffed shots by Solo all but seal the fate of this round, and Fnatic should be taking back their lead.
10 seconds left.
So many moments in this round that you almost just feel could have swung the other way. The jump through from Magnum, definitely a little bit risky. But the bait and switch and the positioning of the remaining Fnatic players ended up closing out that round. Now, Lakia will be allowed to hold on to his rifle, something that will give them a nice little bonus into the next round. But it was just this combo of Doma being within the smoke and then Boaster just managing to hold onto the site for the majority of the play. And I think even the rotation from Durka at the end, just to make sure they couldn't wrap him around elbow after it was lost, was integral to them being able to take home the round. The in-game leader once again putting up the numbers. But now we look to see how NUTURN will react. Still got to purchase into this one at least, and actually a reasonable amount of cash still on the board. The issue is no ultimates, whereas on the other side, they're starting to stack up a little bit now for Fnatic.
Allows up close. Magnum's heard it, and they know that, you know what's going on. Showstopper comes in. It doesn't even force them to all take TP, but they do give up control. They go back down on B long. Allow takes TP over towards A. This really throws off the map control that NUTURN were looking for in the early stage. And think about what they committed. They used a flash. They used a cloudburst, a dash as well. Very, very valuable to take that out of the hands of Allow, because it limits the kind of aggressive peaks that he can go for and takes away some of the RNG in terms of fights that your opponents will take. Makes them that little bit more predictable. So that's actually a really good trade early round, even though the showstopper doesn't find a kill. Maybe could have been a little bit better, but it does put NUTURN on the back foot.
The Seeker's expended. Will delay at least a little bit, but don't really tell too much on information. The bigger play, though, is actually coming out from Magnum, but he might just meet his maker instead. He takes down Lakia. The problem now for NUTURN is the jig is up. They've got to go. They'll have to push forward into this site because they've lost so much map control, and instead they're being denied by utility. Fnatic have held on to it. They don't need to deny a plant if nobody gets to the site, and just continually placing this utility has forced a rotation again. The thing is, the spike's still towards A. The teleport has just been used to push them back, and I feel like they have to give this up now, Mitch.
Yeah, they're forced into a 4-man save. Get your Kodak out and take a picture of this one. This is a rarity when it comes down to Valorant. You rarely see like 5v5 or 5v4 saves come into play. But we talked about it, right? Fnatic put them on the back foot. They wanted to go for that B long control. They committed a lot to it in the early round in terms of their utility. They gave away their hand. Fnatic popped the showstopper not for the exact reason, like, of what we described. Like, that was we described the impact that the showstopper had. I don't think that was the intention. The intention was to zone their opponents, but they suspected it was a much quicker take. And so they wanted to slow the take first of all, because they don't have the full control or they're not ready for it. And then they also want to add to that by zoning your opponents and pushing them out of B long and seize back the map control yourself. In the end, it ends up leaving Newturn so lost, combined with their other utility, that they never actually get a foothold on the round in any way, shape, or form. A gorgeous overall play. And look at this. There's a gap in the... Well, Durka's found the gap in the wall as well. He knew it was there. They thought they could sneak around it, but Durka was just staring right at it, ready to take them out, gets a third, and, well, Newturn's hopes of taking this one have decreased significantly.
I appreciate the faster take, because I think we've realized over the last few rounds that Fnatic have started to save some utility. It's something we see quite regularly in a lot of other FPSs, but in this game, they've realized, okay, if Newturn are just going to try and play incredibly slow, then we're going to get to the point where, okay, we will just hold on to the utility so we can deny them in the last 20 seconds. It's exactly what happened in the round prior to it. So we're now in a position 11-8. Newturn, again, there might be a piece or two missing for this round, but they need to break back, otherwise this map is going to be over.
Yeah, exactly. It's now or never really for Newturn. Lose this one, and Fnatic pretty much walk away with that win 9 times out of 10. Doma's up close to this smoke, waiting for someone to creep on through and give him an opportunity. For a second, I thought he was going to walk on into it. You don't want to stick that silencer through the smoke. But that boombot, once it comes in, Doma, he's undetected on the other side. He's going to wait down. There's another smoke in play, but it's now spotted him. The nade going to push him out of position, or take him out in the end. The boombot nade combination, trade suggest. I think he only had a Spectre, right? So overall, you'll take that. But Lakia blinded up, spotted in the corner. How does he get away with that?
It definitely shouldn't have gone that way. And now look at Allow. It's the push and pull of Newturn. They're going to start sending extra players into the site. They've started to almost force a sense of doubt, but Mystic is still going to find the kill, and he actually manages to dodge the Hunter's Fury as well. Still having that extra snakebite to just force them back for a little longer, and it's going to isolate the spike. Solo can't really go anywhere. He just have to wait patiently, and now the whole team of Fnatic are all on A.
This Viper utility, man, it is just stopping them so many times from pushing the site. Down goes the snakebite to stop any sort of aggression through the wall and extra map control that they need to plant. Mystic takes down Solo, and that's the spike on the floor. The pace has to be increased for Newturn if they want a chance. They'd have to throw themselves at the site. And look at the HP. 1 for Perry, 35 for Lakia. Not a chance they commit to this, but Fnatic are close by. They're even gonna hunt this down. You hear a lot of players, a lot of spams, but no kills. Okay, Newturn, you've secured yourself 2 rifles, but now you need 4 rounds in a row, and more importantly than that, Tom, they need to figure out this A defense.
And this is something that I think Fnatic might do better than anyone in the world, is just these mid-game adaptations. They did it versus Sentinels, but maybe came in a little bit too late, where they just stopped taking those early fights. Stopped pushing forward. Okay, sure, Doma was still trying to hold on to hookah control, but they basically just fell back to the sites and forced an execution. And there is fairly limited utility when you look over the other side. They're very reliant on Solo. Again, though, this battle looking to come through. Utility being expended to try their best to clear Doma, and surely he doesn't survive this.
Somehow he does. 2 players spamming him through smokes, boombots, nades, everything's coming his way, and yet there he is. Sat comfortably inside of hookah, maintaining the control for his team. They want to go back through here, and they're going to drone it out after shock it, but Doma's... Oh, they're committing a lot of utility here on Fnatic. That's the Tiger out spotting 2 players. That's Boombot, that's Nade. A lot thrown at this. Now Newturn sense this is weaker. They can push in, and Suggest gets the kill off the back of it. Great early round posturing by Newturn to burn up their opponent's utility before committing towards taking that map control. Now they've got it seized. They want the site, but oh my god! They lose the long control, which means the spike is on the floor. Perry's flank, worthless right now. It does basically nothing unless he gets this kill. And he does. They can TP. They need to get across to it first, but Suggest... Oh no, he very nearly gets caught. He doesn't know Boaster's hot on his heels. The TP cleared out. Look at where Suggest is. He's took down close. Boaster! What? The 3K to close it out, the transfer. That is unbelievable. I thought they had it. They had a 9th round on the board, but big muscles being flexed out there, and you just can't blame him, Tom. What a way to finish out the map.
This man leads this team in so many ways. There should have been no way he managed to win that round. Of course, he had to go for it. He had to take the risk, but you have to look at the Newturn side. They even set up in a crossfire to try and deny him. And I think you're seeing the differences between these two teams. The crossfire initially from Fnatic was superb. Sure, the trades came back, but then the Red Bull clutch coming home for Boaster. I just want to let this one ride.
Wow. Wow. Mid-fight realizes I haven't got control of this spray and just taps it in to close it out. That was gorgeous. And for Fnatic, it's a map that we always talk about being theirs. We say that this is the map that they dominate.